I don't know how long ago, but something built a nest in this mast.
Can you tell what it was? Like a bird?
There were feathers.
Yeah, so probably a bird.
Assuming that it wasn't eating birds.
We're Chris and Sandra. In 2022, we bought a boat we named Bataway. On a foggy May morning, we said goodbye to Port Dover and headed down Lake Erie through the Welland Canal and on to Lake Ontario. We had a summer of fun boat projects and explored Lake Ontario and the famous Canadian Heritage Canal System, the Trent Severn Waterway. We met some great people and saw amazing sights in beautiful Ontario. We've got plans to overhaul the interior of Bataway in the spring, so join two not-so-young kids as we dive headfirst into our 2023 adventure.
We were running out of deck space, so I figured it was time to put the mast up. But before I did that, I thought I'd take a quick look, make sure things looked okay generally. And I thought I'd be done by the end of the day. The project turned out to be a bit larger than I expected. So I'm looking at the lights on the mast this morning. There's two spreader lights on the outside edges of the spreader. And above that, you can't really see it from here, there's a anchor light. This is the housing for it. The spreader lights are getting voltage, about 10 volts, which isn't great, but it is voltage. That's not uncommon. If you've ever worked on trailers, you get a lot of voltage drop. I'm going to see if I can figure out where that voltage drop is happening, see if I can clean things up. And then the anchor light's not getting voltage, so I need to try and figure out what's going on. So there's obviously two distinct wiring runs going up here, and I need to start trying to figure it out. There's a couple of issues here. We're getting low voltage up at the top of the mast, but we've got good voltage down at the base. So what I mean is I've got 13 volts at the base of the mast and about 10 volts at the top of the mast. I'm pretty sure all of the issues are here. I'm not 100% sure, but it's a pretty good guess. The wire harness obviously got crushed by the mast at some point because 1, 2, 3 of the wires are crushed and the wire housings are split. So I'm going to shorten this up a bit to get rid of the crushed part of the wire, and I'm not sure if I'm going to look for a different coupler here. I think I am. I could keep it and just clean it up. Well, I'll decide later. So I got the tape off, and the joints are soldered, which is everybody says, I mean, I've done my fair share of soldered joints. Everybody says the better way to go is to crimp due to vibration. Anyway, at this point, I'm definitely going to be cutting this apart and cleaning it up. I got to go see what kind of connectors I've got here to see what's possible. Nothing was labeled, so I just started by trying to trace the wiring and writing it down so that I could make some sense of what I was looking at. Once I got that figured out, I could start working on the actual wiring. The other kind of stupid thing here is, in reality, this connector should have been on the live end, and the connector that is on the live end should have been on the mast end. Because when you pull this apart, you don't want to have the chance for arcing and sparking and crap like that. So, this should be the ground wire, white, which I have no idea what it is right now. Should be a ground wire. And these other ones should have been buried in here. Anyway, it's just kind of telling me that I should probably do this properly. As little as I want to. Okay, I gotta go. I gotta go look for more parts, obviously. So I just got back from lunch, and before lunch I went up to the automotive store. I bought a new connector. It's the same, it's an automotive connector, which I'm going to say is okay here, given that this is a trailer connector for cars, right? Trucks and cars, and so I've seen them take a lot of abuse. I've seen them get really rusted out too, but this is in a reasonably safe location, and the first one lasted as long as it did. So we'll go with it, and we'll see how it does. I'm going to change the ends. So on the live power end coming from the panel, I'm going to use the predominantly female end. And I'm doing that so that I can put a ground line here, and there'll be 2 power lines and a ground line in these female ends. So that means that when this thing is live, I don't have to be worried about what it's doing, because it'll just ground out, which is good. So, nothing much else to do except get started. I started by cutting and removing the old connectors from both ends, stripped the wire back down so that I had some exposed wire to work with, and crimped new butt joints in place. Once I had it put back together, it's time to start testing. I'm going to get you to, when I tell you to, put the black probe on each contact in turn.
Starting on this side?
Sure.
That's as much as I've got. If you clip it on just a bit further along, it might work. Oh, got enough?
Quite. That's as far as you can stretch that.
Can you extend one of these at all?
Can you pull the wires around a bit? Okay, don't do it.
Tell me when. That's the first one. I'm just touching it.
Keep going.
Second one. Go to the third one.
Yes, Sandra.
Third one. What about the fourth one, which is fourth?
Okay, do the same thing.
1, 2, 3, 4. Could the fuse have blown down at the breaker box?
Testing wasn't going too well, so I decided to open the mast up as much as I could and see what was going on inside. It was a bit surprising. You got a minute, Sandra? There's a nest. It's empty. I don't know how long ago, but something built the nest in this mast.
Can you tell what it was? Like a bird?
There were feathers,
Yeah, so probably a bird.
assuming that it wasn't eating birds.
Well, birds typically don't chew on wires, but
Yeah, well, one set of wires aren't working.
if it was a rat or a squirrel or something.
Yeah, you wouldn't think it would have been a...
Is the end open at the other end?
I have no idea.
And is that, they could climb in there over winter, right?
Yeah. What a mess.
Not sure what to.
Can you grab something to put this in?
A garbage bag?
A bucket? I don't know. It's coming. I see red, or I see yellow, blue, black. I don't see the other one. Oh, there it is, red. Hey, Sandra, you got a minute? You on them?
Okay, I'm on outside.
Go to the other one.
Outside.
Oh my god.
Does that make sense?
Nope. Yeah, just go through them.
Green, yellow, white.
Okay, we're gonna do the outside ones again.
Okay. Outside green. Outside white. Inside yellow. Inside black.
What is going on here? Okay, outside ones.
Okay, outside green. Outside white. What do you expect me to have?
A loud beeping noise. Okay, can we just...
I need a couple more inches. You've pulled too much. Okay. Green.
try the inside?
Okay, inside yellow. Inside black.
I don't trust anything now.
Must be getting stretched or something.
Yeah.
I wonder if you can just replace the anodes.
White, green, brown, yellow.
Is that the order you want me to do it in?
No. You're going to need to take that in. Okay, try the two goes.
Outside?
Yeah.
Green. White. Green. White.
Stop.
Yeah.
Okay. Been working on the mast all day. And when I started, the anchor light wasn't getting voltage, and the spreader lights were only getting about 10 volts. I've solved that. The anchor light's getting voltage, and all of them are getting about almost 12 volts, 11.8. So there's a slight voltage drop. But I think I can live with that compared to what it was before. When I took this apart, I don't know if you can see this, but it's all moretted in here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 big morettes. It's a bit ugly. But at first I was just going to ignore it. But I think I'll try and fix it up. Try and get rid of the morettes. Put on crimp-on lugs. And put it back together as best I can. It was a bit surprising up at the top of the mast. Lots of moretted connections. I had to spend a bit of time figuring out what was going on. I cut all of the morettes out, cleaned up the wiring. For the spreader lights, I ended up pulling out wire running between the two sets of lights and putting a new piece in just to give me a more clean wiring job. And then I put it all back together again. Second day working on the mast. Bright and sunny and warm today. The mast is proving way more challenging than I thought it would be. Mostly because there's way more going on this mast than I thought, because I didn't realize how many lights were on here. Turns out there's the spreaders, which I already identified. And then above that, just up here, is the mast light, the anchor light. And at the very top of the mast is the running light. So there's actually 3 circuits going up this mast, and I only started figuring it out when I started digging into the wiring here, starting to clean it up, because we've never had the running lights working at the very top of the mast, so we'd never even seen it before, because of course the mast was up last year when we bought the boat. So I had to go back to the store this morning, get a few more parts. I think I have enough now, and hopefully we can finish cleaning it up and put it back together today. Got those.
So you probably noticed we were all ready to put up the mast, and Chris didn't like how insecure the masthead light was, the anchor light. So we debated a bit and we took the mast down further. We actually disconnected it at the base electrically and with the cotter pin and the bolt, and then we swung it around. It was actually lighter than we thought, but now he's going to try to fix it. Are you putting a bayonet fitting in, did you say?
Yeah, you'll see it pretty soon. This whole thing's rusted out. That's the issue, right? Totally rusted out, and the bayonet won't sit anymore because it's pretty much completely failed.
So do you think that's easy enough to get the part for?
I'm hoping so.
Nice day, you've already dried out from your little fall in the water.
If I'd known I would have gone in after it.
Chris dropped the light cover of one of the spreader lights, and he was reaching out from the dinghy and just reached a bit too far and fell part of the way in. And all I heard when I was inside working is a bunch of noises like he was sliding around. And I could have stayed in because he's always after me about being too worried about him, but I came out to witness the indignity. I don't think there's a part of this mast that you haven't had your hands on in.
Certainly not now. Okay, I'm gonna go to the what's it called?
CarQuest?
Chandlery?
Oh, you're gonna ask inside if they haven't?
Yeah, it looks, I mean, it's just a threaded light fitting. I don't think it's anything special.
All right, see you later.
So it's day 3 on the mast project. Yesterday, Sandra pointed out to me that there was another light on the mast that neither one of us knew about because we'd never seen the mast down. And of course, it was the topmost light, which is supposed to be your anchor light. But when I actually went up there, took it apart, the socket was rusted out, the bulb was burned out, and I was able to put a new bulb in, and it kind of worked. But the socket was so rusted out that all I had to do was jostle it a little bit and the connection would have failed. So I'm not sure how long that had been like that. Anyway, long story short, I took the whole top end of the mast apart, pulled out the old light fixture, showed it to the guys at the marina chandlery here at the marina, and they didn't have anything that would fit the existing light fixture. So then I went to an automotive store and I found a part, and it would have fit, and I was ready to start putting it back together. But then I decided to do a little bit of research. You know, it turns out, of course, that the US Coast Guard and the Canadian, I guess it would be the Canadian Coast Guard as well, have a lot to say about your running lights. And the long and the short of it is you need 2 nautical miles of visibility. And what I was going to be putting back together definitely wouldn't have given us 2 nautical miles. I'd be surprised if the original light that was in there, whether or not it was original, was giving 2 nautical miles. Anyway, given the fact that it wasn't working and that I couldn't fix it to current standards. I've gone out and bought just a proper anchor light. That's just a circular housing that'll sit on the top of the mast. Should be able to just screw the base for my existing mounting holes, and then that'll be done. A little bit expensive, but they say they'll have it here tomorrow. I ordered it at the marina. Should be in tomorrow. So while I was investigating all this, and it was kind of what I thought. I thought the wiring was a little odd, the existing wiring, because the way it was set up, the anchor light, let me back up, the topmost light on the mast, which should be the anchor light, was wired as part of the running lights, and the running light, which is at the front of the mast, was wired as the anchor light. And I think they did this because the anchor light failed, which is how we got it, and rather than try and fix it, they just rewired the running light, the existing mast running light, which is at the front of the mast, as the anchor light, so that they would have an anchor light. That's my guess. I don't know. It's hard to say. So this morning, kind of take 3 on the wiring. I just flipped those 2 wires around. Just finished that job. I'm going to heat shrink, put it all back together. Tomorrow, I'll install the mast light, and hopefully this job will be done. The good news is it's in way better shape than when I got to it. The bad news is that this is now going on day 3. And I've done other things in the interim, but this is a much bigger job than I anticipated. I need to line up the mounting holes. So I need to use this as a template. That worked surprisingly well. Right. So, I need to wire the connections, which I can do.
Okay. Yeah, but you were talking, so you can't walk away when you're talking.
It was a really windy day, and I was working right at the edge of the dock with the mast hanging out over the end of the dock. It was challenging.
Well, I don't know where the bolt is. What's back here? wrapped it around.
I think you're just gonna pull it, right?
Well, I know, but I want something to hang to actually. Sorry?
Are you ready?
Do you need to get up?
Can we get it any higher? Or can you hold it?
Well, I'm holding it here.
Are you good? Because you're holding it.
Nope. Okay, now, just a minute.
You've got it.
No, just can you hold on to it for 1 second? There. Okay. So you're just going to make sure it doesn't pinch.
Okay, hold.
Just a second. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks great.
I can pull it if you want to get the shrouds going. Okay. Do you want to tighten them up?
Yeah.
How do you want to do that? You're just going to eyeball it?
Just give me a minute.
Okay, I guess I'm going to let go of this. How much play is there in it?
Is that tightening?
Hard to say. It's looser.
So I need you to tell me if this is loosening or tightening when I start. So if you could monitor the tension of this.
I think that's getting tighter. Yeah. I guess I could take the.
That's sure not going anywhere.
Okay, I'll take the knot out.
At the end of the day, after 4 days working on the mast, it was pretty rewarding to light it all up and have a functioning anchor light at the top, a running light below it, and the spreaders working properly on their own circuits. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up, and we'll see you next time.